What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Cuts the Great from Anime Escape with another My Hero Academia review. Darn it. Episode 24, Tomura Shigaraki. Episode starts off with Tomura or Shigaraki saying he killed his family and he was walking down the street as a kid, bloody hands, no shoes, scratched up, scarred up face, gray hair, and like everyone's just like looking at him in fear and then running away. This old lady stopped and was like, "Hey, do you need help or anything like that?" And then she got like a look on his face, saw the look on his face, and she was like, "Well, a hero or the police will come by. I gotta go to work, so I gotta go." So pretty much showed like for the world to have heroes who would symbolize justice and everyone would cheer for them, everyone did not have that same sentiment of needing to save people, obviously. So it pretty much then cuts to him getting it, like having a hand reached out to him because it's one for all, and it's Shigaraki under a bridge in the rain, and then that's how their friendship, or father-son evil friendship, son, whatever you want to call it, that's how that started. So then then you got the intro, and then it goes to him pretty much, one for all, pretty much referring to, talking to Shigaraki, giving him the pains of his family, and he was like, "You need to quit resisting" and whatnot. And then it cuts to Shigaraki getting beat up by some like older kids in the street, drinking beer and stuff, and like they're like, "You need to get out of the way, this is our street." And Shigaraki like has an instinct to just kill him, but he holds back, which like showed that he still has some humanity left in him, and that's why he was constantly scratching. And all for one is like, you need to, quit resisting your urges and everything like that. Not all for one, one for all. He's like, you need to quit resisting your urges and things, because it's only going to bring pain onto you. And what you need to do is let the world embrace the pain with you. It's something like that, something in that nature. So he gives him the hands and asks him what does he want to do. And Shigaraki is pretty much like, I want to kill those two guys who like beat me up and stuff like that. So then it cuts to like Shigaraki having flashbacks about his dad and everything, and he's like, I just want to kill those two guys. So one for all smiles, and then like it cuts to like rain, and the guys are like standing like under like a shelter or something like that, drinking, hoodlum stuff. So next thing you know, you see Shigaraki come out the corner, like come out of the alley with all these hands full of masks and stuff around his body. And teenagers, they talk shit. They're like, "What are you doing? You're on my block, this, and this." And all you see is him reach out. And then it cuts to one for all and the doctor sitting on top of the building. And the doctor was like, "I thought he lost his memories." And one for all was like, "Yeah, he did. He actually has them locked up and his motions are just surfacing and everything like that. So he's not really using his full quirk yet, but he's using it effectively right now based off his emotions." So yeah. Then it cuts to Shigaraki and he's standing there. He's like, he wants to throw up from just killing those two guys, but he was like, he doesn't understand why he feels a sense of calmness after killing those two guys, which I don't understand either, because it's really really dark. Then it like shows a silhouette of like each family member for each hand, this, this. Man, this is really interesting. Then he says, then it cuts to one for all and Shigaraki in a room, and one for all congratulates. Is it one for all for one? I keep messing them up. All for one. Thank you. All for one congratulates Shigaraki. So he took the hands of the two people he killed, and replaced, like, gave him some new hands. And Shigaraki was like, "Why is there's 5 hands here?" He was like, "I gave you an extra one because you accidentally destroyed one." So, you know, he was like, "Show me what you look like with all the hands on." He stands there, and then he christens him Tomura Shigaraki. Then you get the title card of Tomura Shigaraki Origins. And he asked, "What does Tomura mean?" It means morning. And then he asked, "What does Shigaraki mean?" And all for one was like, "It's my last name." So that's where you get Tomura Shigaraki from, because morning, I don't know. It just says morning, and then it's the last name. I've never looked it up. Then, more importantly, it cuts back to the battle between Shigaraki and Restaurant. So he's like looking up in his face, like, "I remember everything." He's like, "I purposely killed my dad. I sat there and watched and killed my family and everything like that." And he's like, "I just want to destroy. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about this League of Villains. I don't care about anything. I just want to destroy." And he's like, Redestro, oh my gosh, like goes in for a punch at 100% stress, and Shigaraki just like swings his arm and like destroys so much. Then like it cuts to Gigantomachia coming through the city, tearing up, headed towards Shigaraki. Then Genten, who's fighting Dabi, notices that something's going on with Restoro, and so he goes and tries to get the Restoro. So like now it's like, what the hell is going on? So it cuts back to Shigaraki and Restoro, and Restoro, I think Shigaraki was saying something to him. He's like, I can't remember, but Restoro presses a button on his belt and sends out like, it's almost like, gosh, people quit commenting on stuff. Pretty much Gundam parts on stuff like that surround him and get him and causes him more stress to create more power. While that's happening, he's like, "I don't know what's going on in my chest. He's like, pretty much he's feeling fear but not knowing what it's from. So he's like, well, not fear, it's like relief. Actually, because he said his stress is residing or something like that. And like he's pretty much been groomed from birth to be like the one to lead Destro and everything like that. So pretty much after all the parts come out, land on him and everything, like he's like this Mecha Gundam, what like the parts like stab and cut into him that cause more stress and pain and stuff so he can power up more. So I think it cuts to Twice and his clones and Toga. Twice is getting like a piggyback ride from one of his clones. His clones are Terry Toga, and they're all like noticing. Then it cuts to Mr. Compression. He's noticing everything, and he's talking to the doctor, and he's like, "Look, we about to go." And the doctor's like, "No, you're not. You're not leaving until the Liberation Army is either conquered or defeated." And Mr. Compression is like, "You don't care about Shigaraki die?" And the doctor was like, he needs to be pushed into a corner for his powers to fully comply. And Mr. Compression, I don't know what's going on. So, you know, all that. So, after that, it kind of, it gets, going off of memory is not easy, guys. Going off of memory is not easy. Yeah. But, after that, it cuts to, Genten. There we go. And Genten has a flashback of Restoro telling him he's a cornerstone of the Liberation Army and he needs to focus on Dabi. And Genten goes and attack Gigantomachia, and Gigantomachia is just like, nope, and just like sends him flying. And then you see Trumpet, and like everyone's headed towards Restoro. And this is where it gets crazy. I mean, this is where it gets stupid crazy. So Restoro in his like 150% powered up form goes to punch Shigaraki, and Shigaraki just catches it like that, and like instantly just dissolves the armor. And then Shigaraki's like, oh, so your power is almost like plus ultra. Okay, I can understand that. So, you know, Restoro goes back, you know, he regathers his bearings and everything like that. So he goes in, he's like sitting there looking at him, and he's like, this guy has suffered so much, even after his awakening and everything like that. What's like, why is he just not feeling anything like stress or anything like that? It's like he's almost like he's just free of everything. So Shigaraki touches the ground, and this is the full awakening of everything. He touches the ground and it decays everything. It reaches Destero's armor, Destero jumps up, and he has a flashback. Tomura has a flashback of All For One telling him to do everything. It was like, was it hate and joy? So like he just unleashes his full court, and it just engulfs everything. And like Gigantomachia is like standing at the edge, and like he's watching this, and he's just like in awe. And Shigaraki is just laughing. Like he's just like, you know, like when the laughs was like hysterical and just beyond control, and it's just like gut wrenching. It's one of those laughs. And like you see Restoro like riding a piece of armor off the debris that's like just hovering, and like the speed of everything kind of makes like an air pocket, and it flips him off the armor, and then like everything settles. Like everything just settles down, and Gigantomachia is standing at the edge of the crater, and he's like looking in, and as he's looking in, it cuts to Restoro, and he's sitting there with like an armor at the edge of his feet, and Shigaraki walks up, and he's like, did your feet touch the ground? And then we find out Restoro had to cut his feet off because the decay actually reached his feet once he hit the ground. So he cut off his own legs. So, wow. So then, you know, Shigaraki was like, why were we fighting again? Oh yes, because you were looking for a fight. You wanted this fight. Look what happened. Next thing you know, like everybody from the Liberation Army pulls up, and Trump is like, everyone, go help the Grand Commander. And everyone's like, yeah. And then the most bone chilling thing in anime happens. Like Shigaraki just looks and smiles, and it like takes the fear, like puts the fear of God in everybody. So like Trump is like, he nullified my ability. So Restoro was like, look, just stop. Just end it. Just, it'd be a waste of life and everything like that. We initiated this fight. I asked for this fight. We wanted this fight. And I have been defeated. Completely. So pretty much he's like, you are now the Grand Commander of the Liberation Army. So, this is where it gets crazy. Once he does that, it jumps to... No, before that, Shigaraki has like a flashback about Mr. Compression wanting sushi. So like as Restoro gives the command to Shigaraki, Shigaraki was like, you guys have money, right? And it was like almost like the blackest thing in me. I was like, yeah, get that bag. But like it guts to like a week later, and then Mr. Compress, Dabi, and Spinner are sitting there eating sushi. They're arguing about the sushi, and then you see Twice ringing a gong for Toga, and Toga was like, "Will you stop that? I'm right here." And she has like an eye patch, bandages, stuff like that. Twice's arms is still wrapped up. You know, everyone else is pretty like beat up still. Then you see Skeptic and Trumpet come in the room and tell him it's time. So, you know, they lead him into a secret area, this, and this. And you see Restro sitting in this hover chair, almost like some Professor X type stuff. And he's telling the Liberation Army, he's like, you know, I was so stuck on following in this steps and this, and you know, everything like that. And then Shigaraki came through, Tomura Shigaraki came through and showed me true freedom and everything like that. And he is now your grand commander, this, and this. And he has an announcement for everything. But before that, they came up with the best cover. And I never understood how this just went by and no one noticed it. So they came up with a cover-up. I actually jumped ahead to it, but this covers it. They came up with a cover-up that the heroes got a false alert on a different part of the country. Then villains attacked the city of the Liberation Army. They didn't say the Liberation Army, but the villains attacked. And the citizens with their unique quirks beat off all 20 villains, but the city took severe damage. So now the citizens have moved into a different location, and that Restro, I can't remember his actual name, lost his legs in the battle, but saved the city. That's the story. And I'm like, that would never fly. And it does. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's just wild. But then that's when they came in with sushi and, you know, Toga and Twice and all of them, and Skeptic and Trumpet and everything let them down. And that's when Restro was giving his grand speech. And then it was like, going back to that, it was like Restro was like, what's the name? What's the name? And like, it almost looks like he's desperately burning his hands and everything. So I forgot what Shigaraki said, but I think it was like the Paranormal Liberation Army or something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't fully remember. I know it was Paranormal Liberation something. I can't fully remember. And then he was like, these 9 people up here are your lieutenants. So it was Dobby, Twice, Mr. Compression, Toga, Spinner, Skeptic, Trumpet, Restro, and who was the last one? I think it was that lady, the news lady. I think it was her, but I can't think of her name or whatnot. But they're the non-cap, lieutenants. So after everything, Restro was like an ass kicking. Restro was like, you want some tea? You want something to drink? He's like, yeah, I'll go get something. He jets off. And Trump is like, I hate to see him like this, and goes after him. So Shigaraki goes to take a step and he falls. So the doctor has been listening the whole time. And he's talking cash money shit. He's like, oh, the Paranormal Liberation such and such army. Okay, it's better than the League of Villains. He's like, you've been listening to this the whole time? He's like, yeah. And Shigaraki's like, I think I'm at least to that level where I deserve, that power. And the doctor's like, yes, you are. So I'm going to keep my end of the deal. I will help you gain that power. Episode. And I'm like, okay. This is going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. No, the Paranormal Liberation Front, not the Army, is Liberation Front. What am I thinking? I can't think. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the episode. It's interesting because oh boy, he rose to hell and everything about that. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Stay true, stay savage, people. I'm out.